What's going on, guys? Matt Weik, Weik Fitness. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. Hope you all had a fantastic Labor Day holiday, a long weekend. Maybe you, spent time with the family, with some friends. Maybe you just relaxed for that extra day that you got off. But today, I want to talk about something that I'm seeing a lot of, and I think it's a conversation that we as a society need to have. Now, I'm going to throw out a disclaimer. This isn't going to be the normal health, fitness, business type of podcast. I'm not going to get into politics because, quite frankly, I hate politics. I think it's stupid. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that we have two parties who only think one way and think that everything that comes out of the other party's mouth is wrong. I think that's stupid. But I think we have to have this conversation of, why are we blaming objects these days? And the biggest example that we see these days are from, firearms. When you look at the political debates these days, the biggest thing that comes out of both parties, but primarily Democrats, and again, I'm not going to get into the politics. I'm going to basically break it down into how we should be thinking as a society. But the Democrats, their answer is, we're going to confiscate, we're going to ban, we're going to take away, we're going to put new laws in place, we're going to have all these, new measures put in place. And you know what? That's all fine and dandy, but the bottom line is criminals do not follow laws. If you confiscate firearms, and we're just using this as a placeholder for today's conversation, but if you confiscate firearms, criminals don't care. They're going to get them regardless. So all you're going to do is disarm the law-abiding citizens who did nothing wrong. They're simply exercising their Second Amendment right, the right to bear arms, and you're taking away, quite frankly, their protection. So when these criminals who don't follow the laws anyway get any of the banned or confiscated firearms anyways, because that's what they do, what do you think's going to happen? I mean, they have the saying, don't bring a knife to a gunfight, but that's exactly the situation that you're trying to put Americans in. Criminals are going to get guns illegally regardless. It doesn't matter how many background checks you have, how many measures you have in place to prevent gun violence. Criminals are criminals. They don't follow the freaking laws, people. It doesn't matter. You're preaching to the wrong section of America. Everyone agrees that we have a gun problem in terms of violence. But when you look at the actual statistics that a lot of these people are using, these grand statistics, the majority of the gun violence that's coming from that is from actual hate crimes. It's not mass terrorism, okay? It's our inner cities. Look at Chicago. Look, there are people dying every day, and I'm not saying that makes it okay. But you take these tragedies of these mass shootings, and you compile all of this data, which mass shootings ends up being like 1% of gun deaths in America. Why are we focusing so much on something that is such a small percentage? There are more people dying from suicide, okay, than mass shootings. Now, these are horrific events. I get it. But we're putting blame on an object. Let me say that again. We're putting blame on an object. If I hit you in the face with my phone, I can't blame the phone, okay? It's my fault that I hit you in the face with the phone. What part of that is so difficult to understand? I get it. People want to push their agendas, and the government truly wants to take firearms away from the people because that's the reason why we have them, to have measures in place to protect us, the people, from a tyrant government. We had a whole war over this. What do you think's going to happen when the government decides to take away all of the firearms and basically make us, the law-abiding citizens, defenseless? It gives them the power to, quite frankly, do whatever the hell they want because we can't stop them. That's the whole reason for having the Second Amendment. So, I just think the rhetoric today and the nonsense that's being spewed out there is so driven towards an object. Look, if I were to sit a firearm right here on my desk, and I'm talking to you, the entire time we're talking, that object's not going to move unless I physically grab it, move it, bump it, do whatever. Even then, if I bump it, drop it, kick it, whatever, there are internal safeties as well as, on some, external safeties that prevent it from going off. That firearm is not going to discharge unless you put your finger in the trigger guard and you pull it straight to the back. That is going to discharge the firearm. Why are we talking about gun violence from we have a gun problem versus we have a people and mental health problem? Let me put it this way. My son Jackson, he's 5 years old. Now, granted, this is nothing, I'm not comparing apples to apples here, but follow me on this. My son was walking from the kitchen table over to the sink to put his dishes away. As he was walking, instead of having his plate flat and level, he had it tilted. As he's walking, his fork slides off of the plate, and by luck itself, or I guess you could call them unlucky, the fork prongs itself went down and hit him on the foot. He wasn't wearing shoes, he was barefoot. Now, it made 3 cuts in his foot from the prongs that actually hit. He was upset, he was crying, it was bleeding a little bit. I didn't blame the fork. It wasn't the fork's fault for sliding off of the plate and hitting my son's foot. It was my son's fault. Let's call a spade a spade. If he had it flat, that fork wouldn't have slid, wouldn't have fell off, and by chance, hit his foot. The same thing is true about any object that can hurt somebody. Look, I don't understand when a drunk driver does the most heinous thing of drinking and then going and driving on the roads, gets into an accident and kills someone. Do you blame the car? I mean, seriously, I want you to think about how ridiculous this conversation is. I want you to literally answer that question. Hell, put it in the comments of this YouTube video or this podcast, or if you're watching it on my website, if it's on social media. I want your comments. When a drunk driver hits and kills someone, whether it's another vehicle or a pedestrian walking the street, and they get struck by this drunk driver, what or who do we blame? Seriously, I want you to answer that. It's the drunk driver, right? The drunk driver goes to jail. The drunk driver gets arrested. We're not arresting the vehicle. We're not punishing the vehicle. We're not blaming the vehicle. The vehicle just happened to be the object that was used in that, I guess you can call it crime, right? So why is the shoe on the other foot when a firearm is used in some type of violent encounter to hurt, harm, or kill someone? Why do we blame the gun? Do you know how many deaths come from car accidents, drunk drivers, A lot. I mean, it blows my mind that the focus is on something so stupid that Americans look, and I get it. People are dying. But you know what? People are dying in car accidents too. We're not banning vehicles. Oh my gosh, vehicles are so dangerous. Oh my gosh, you shouldn't have a sports car because you can drive it over 150 miles an hour. Guess what? By law, you're not supposed to do that. You know what? By law, you're not supposed to shoot somebody unless it's in self-defense. Guess what? In America, you're not allowed to use heroin. But people do it. We have people overdosing every day on opiates and on heroin and every other drug out there. And look, I almost see this whole, drug push the same way that I see it with firearms. Look, I get it. Drugs are bad. But at the end of the day, a person's taking the drug. That drug's not saying, hey, consume me. The person's taking it. It's very difficult for me to, and this is going to sound like I'm an asshole, but it's hard for me to feel bad for someone who overdoses. You made that decision. I didn't make that for you. Your buddy didn't make it for you. The drug certainly didn't make it for you. You did it. It's no different with firearms. If you put your hand on the gun and you pull that trigger, you are at fault. Any projectile that flies out of a firearm, you are held accountable for. It's the same way with drug addicts. Every time you shoot up or smoke or sniff or whatever you do, that's on you. That's on nobody else. That's not on your drug dealer. Nobody told you to go to a drug dealer and get the drugs. Why are we blaming objects? There's no personal accountability on anything these days. Because everybody wants to blame something else. Oh, it wasn't the mass shooter's fault. It was that damn AR-15. No, you know how fucking stupid that sounds? I'm sorry. I get so frustrated when people are just, you're not taking accountability for actions anymore. You're blaming freaking objects. I mean, that's like, oh yeah, the dog ate my homework. No, the dog didn't eat your homework. You just didn't do your homework. Stop blaming other things. It's childish. It's immature. I just want everyone to sit back and think about that for 1 minute. Why are we blaming objects? It's the dumbest thing ever. I don't get it. You want to blame McDonald's for making you fat. Nobody put that Big Mac in your mouth, Karen. You ate it. It's so ridiculous. Oh, I'm overweight because I ate this. No, you're sitting on your couch watching The Bachelor every night, eating a bag of chips, drinking a regular Coke. There's nothing else I can say. It's personal accountability. We're not blaming objects. I don't care what food is on the shelf of your grocery store. If you say it's healthy, unhealthy, if you put it in your mouth, that's your decision. Nobody's holding a gun to your head and saying, hey, you need to go to McDonald's and eat a Big Mac meal and wash it down with a Coke. And then when you're done, get an ice cream cone and an apple pie. And then just grab a milkshake on the way out, a McFlurry. And, while you're on your way home, stop by the gas station and get a big gulp soda so that you have it for tonight. And while you're there, you might as well get some more snacks because, you like to sit there on your couch and do absolutely nothing all night long. And then, when you get fat, you want to blame everything else other than your lazy ass. Do you know how stupid that sounds? It's all these carbs that I'm eating. No. It's not the fault of the carbs. It's simply a macronutrient. It's your overconsumption. Let me say that again. Your your overconsumption of the carbs. If you ate either your maintenance calories or even below, you're going to lose weight or at least maintain. Anything above that, you gain weight. You spill over. But ultimately, where you fall on that caloric balance is your fault. If you're not trying to lose weight, but you don't eat enough, that's your fault. If you're trying to lose weight and you eat too much, that's your fault. There's no other way to say it or put it. You need to literally grab your phone, because nobody's looking in mirrors anymore, hit your camera, put it on the little selfie mode where it's pointing back at you, and I want you to look at your phone. You're going to see yourself in your phone, and I want you to ask the questions that I just mentioned in today's podcast. If you were to be in a car accident, whether you were drinking or not, whether you hurt somebody or you simply went off the road and went into a ditch, maybe you hit a telephone pole, whatever, on your own, trip. Do you blame the car? Why would you blame the car? You were driving. You were in control of the vehicle, right? You overdose on drugs. Who told you to take that much? Even if somebody told you, hey, I want you to take all of this, it's not the drug's fault. Despite if you decided to take that or somebody told you to take that. It's a person's fault. You can't blame the object. So, I want to close this up because if you're so far on one side of the fence versus actually understanding what I'm saying, then I'm not going to be able to convince you. And look, I don't want to convince you of anything. I want you to listen to what I'm saying. Form your own opinion and be like, yeah, I agree with Matt. Or heck, you can say, I don't agree with Matt. I want to blame the object. I don't care. But at the end of the day, it's absolutely ridiculous that we're blaming objects for things. If not a firearm, it'll be a knife. If not a knife, it'll be a bat. If not a bat, it'll be a stick. I don't know. Fill in the blank. A screwdriver. Anything these days can be used as a weapon. A brick. What are you going to do? Blame all those objects? Get all of them banned? Is that going to be like the new push then? So if somebody starts hitting people with bricks in 2020, are we going to see all these political debates and people, oh, we need to ban bricks. They're hurting our youth. They're killing people. It's so stupid. I'm sorry, but blaming objects makes absolutely no sense to me. But yet it's what people are doing these days. We don't have a drug problem. We don't have a gun problem. We have a people problem. If people decided, hey, I'm going to stop committing crimes, which they're not going to do, but play with me here. They say I'm not going to commit crimes. Okay, cool. We're not going to have this debate. We're not even going to have this discussion. People stop taking drugs because they're already illegal. It's not like firearms, where firearms are legal, that you can get them by following a certain process. Look, heroin and cocaine is illegal. You're not going to get it in any other way. So the fact that we're having this debate or this discussion just blows my mind. It's not like somebody's sending you drugs. You're going out and getting them. It's no different. So we don't have all these problems where we're blaming all of these objects. We have a people problem across the board with everything. We have a drunk driving problem, okay? We don't have, an alcoholism problem. It's the person. The person who drank, the person who did the drugs, the person who pulled the trigger, the person who got behind the wheel and caused the accident. Look, stop. I got nothing else. I could probably go on this for 2 hours, but I'm not. So I'm going to end it here. I'm not looking to convince you. I'm not looking to change your mind or make you change your political agenda or stance. If you're a Democrat, I don't want you to be a Republican. If you're a Republican, I don't want you to be a Democrat. That shit means nothing to me. I want you to be able to see through the bullshit that's going on today and see what actually makes sense. Does it make sense that we're blaming objects when if you sit them on the table, they don't move? In order for my phone to move, I have to physically do something. Me. I'm in control of this phone when it's in my hand. Anything that this phone does is under my control. If I throw it, if I drop it, if I hit somebody with it, I cause this to move, to function, to do whatever, fill in the blank. We don't have an object problem, people. We have a people problem. So, with that being said, that's all I got. I didn't want this to be a super downer. I didn't want to make it that I'm ranting, even though it ended up being that way. But it just frustrates me and infuriates me that we have people today that don't want to take personal accountability and to push their agenda. They want to blame objects versus the person who is causing a force upon something that is doing harm. So let me know what you think. Am I right? Am I wrong? Again, I don't care if you're Democrat, Democrat, Republican, Independent. I don't care. Heck, you can even say it in the comments if you really wanted to share it. Hey, I'm a Democrat and I agree with you, which I don't think anybody's going to do. But hey, I would love to hear your feedback. Am I totally wrong with this? Should we be blaming objects? Am I doing it all wrong? Am I doing life wrong? Am I supposed to be not taking personal accountability of my own actions and start blaming everything and everyone else for the things, the mistakes that I make, that I do, whatever? Is that the easy way out these days? I don't know. Let me know. But thank you guys so much for your attention. If you're watching this on, YouTube or a podcast or social media, give us a like, a thumbs up. It just helps the algorithms of whatever platform understand that you guys value, the things that I'm saying, the things that I'm providing, the value that I'm trying to get across here. And it just helps get it out in front of more people. So ultimately, that's what I'm trying to do. Just get this out to as many people as possible. Let you guys form your own opinions. Maybe it helps people. Maybe it doesn't help people. I don't know. That's yet to be determined. But I appreciate your attention. I hope you guys had a fantastic holiday, and I hope to see you guys on the next episode.